Welcome back, everybody. President Donald Trump's first days in office have been marked by protests from all across the country. We've been showing that to you. And many who have joined in the demonstrations are lawmakers. And joining us this morning, Congressman Lloyd Doggett, whose 35th district includes parts of Austin. And welcome back to Weekend Dave. Haven't seen you in a little bit. How are you?
So good to be here with you. It's been a very eventful weekend here in Central Texas.
Speaking of which, you participated in that march yesterday. What was your take on that?
Well, actually, it was a really joyous, family-oriented event in the main. I saw many children there, many families pushing strollers and the like. There are always a few people that maybe have distasteful signs or something at a gathering like that. But in the main, this is 50,000 of our neighbors and some people from across Texas coming out to express their concern about this new administration and determined not to go backward.
How surprised were you? Because I don't think anybody, particularly the city, was prepared for 50,000 plus people.
Not at all. This was incredible, and you know, we're into the millions across the country.
Right.
This is an event that began with 9 creative women getting together in December and deciding they wanted to have some kind of expression of their concern. And it grew tremendously. The speeches were great diversity, really showed the strength of our community there. But as I said in my remarks at the Capitol, this needs to be the beginning of the march, not the end. Unless people are engaged in doing more than showing up at a rally and are carrying a message back to their neighborhoods, their workplace, their schools, nothing will change.
But is it a little too late, Congressman? The election is over. Really, the voices should have been heard. People should have gone to the... So what can we do now? Well,
actually, we're only now about 10 months from when filing will begin for the next election here in Texas. But in addition to elections, this is not just about holding elected officials accountable, though that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
It's about reaching out to neighbors, perhaps neighbors that you don't really agree with, who thought that voting for Trump was a shortcut to change, who fell for some of the fake news of last year, and trying to bring about change in attitudes. So much is at stake here, particularly for people who've never had a family physician before, and under the Affordable Care Act, they now have one. There are many of our neighbors that stand to lose a great deal if some of the things this administration has talked about are carried out. And so now's the time to discuss those, to involve people, not just to be on social media, which so many people are. That's fine, but you've got to get social too and reach out and talk to people of all different viewpoints and try to engage them in considering and responding to what's being talked about in Washington.
Yeah, you saw a lot of emotions yesterday. I wanted to get your take on why you boycotted the inauguration. As an elected official, should you show some respect to our new president? A lot of critics are saying.
Yes, respect is a two-way street, just like Pennsylvania Avenue. And unfortunately, Mr. Trump, now President Trump, has not been showing respect to many of the people that I represent. The dreamers who paid a fee, cleared a criminal background check, and are studying or working here in our community. They're talking about forcing them to be removed from the only country they've really ever known. So I can't say that it was an easy decision, because respecting the transfer of power peacefully in a democracy is a very important thing. The best response really I got to my choosing to absent myself was from Patty out in Pflugerville, who asked if I could absent himself too. We weren't able to do that, but we now have our opportunity to be a truly loyal opposition, looking for areas of agreement for common ground. He says he wants health care for everybody. I do too. If we really move in that direction, then we'd be together. But if it's to take away rights that our families have, if it's to throw out the dreamers, reject any kind of immigration reform, then we need to forcefully use nonviolent tools of opposition to present an alternative point of view.
Of course, to be fair, we haven't heard what his plans are. We don't know the details of that just yet.
That's absolutely right. There's speculation about what he may do this week with reference to our dreamers. He put out a very vague order that he doesn't like Obamacare.
Right.
But I think that we will now have the first week in Washington, when I go back tomorrow, of what they call unified Republican government. We need to respect it. but we need to voice our values from Central Texas, too.
Okay, so you didn't go to the inauguration. Did you watch it?
I was flying to Texas during it. I've watched excerpts. I plan to watch the entire speech. I must say the one of those issues that he spoke about that stood out to me as being totally not reality was his suggestion that our schools are flush with money. He's not been in Central Texas. We are really having to stretch to provide quality public education, and I don't know where he has been. Maybe there's some elite private school in the Northeast that's flush with money, but not ours here in Texas. We need more resources for public education.
I'm hearing you saying that he needs a reality check. And finally, what can we see from you starting next week?
Well, I've already filed some legislation. I will be filing more this next week. I recognize there are shortcomings in our healthcare system. If someone has a surgery scheduled for next week and they check with their insurer to see that the hospital and their surgeon is covered, they may go to that hospital and find that a number of others that the hospital contracted with send them thousands of dollars of bills. I call that surprise billing, and it's a really bad surprise. So I have legislation dealing with that. I have legislation dealing with prescription price gouging that is going on.
Yeah, we have reported that.
Just one after another. So on that, and I now serve as the top Democrat on the tax policy subcommittee, so I'll be very involved with any tax changes that President Trump proposes. Mainly eager to hear from people in our area so that my priorities, my legislation there, always reflects the concerns of families here in Central Texas.
U.S. Congressman Lloyd Doggett, always good to see you. You're always welcome back to Weekend Daybreak. He's recovering from a virus. We hope you feel better than that. And sorry about the parking. The 3M half marathon made you park a few
I got a chance
away.
to run a few blocks.
So right, you took part in that race as well. Good to see you. Thank you, sir. All right, straight ahead.